You were a Remainer, but in the process of being a minister, you have ended up in a position where you are now against the UK staying in either the customs union or the single market. So if Theresa May comes back with a deal in which the backstop is the UK stays in the customs union, you'll vote against it?
Well, my position, Christian, is notwithstanding the fact that I voted Remain in 2016, my position has always been clear that being in a customs union with the European Union, but outside of the European Union, would be the worst possible policy choice for this country. Now, I'd be willing to accept that on a temporary basis or a time-defined... Well, bear in mind at the moment, with the withdrawal, with the implementation period, we have already agreed to be in, effectively, the customs union up to December 2020. Now, bear in mind, that is already 4.5 years after the referendum. That is a terribly long period of time.
So is that your deadline? I mean, you know, that you've got 2 years to sort out a deal, and if you haven't got a deal...
Well, my position is December 2020 is already a very long period of time. That's 4.5 years after the referendum. I think the British people would stretch their patience to go beyond December 2020.
And is this what all your colleagues are saying? I mean, like-minded people?
There's a wide...
You won't tolerate this kind of agreement?
There's a variety of views within the party, as we know, about the right kind of agreement. I think there's a preferable way of doing this to the Chequers proposal, and that is to seek a comprehensive free trade agreement, a Canada-style free trade agreement with the EU. I think that could work for both sides in this case, and find a way using technology. I don't think it's beyond the wit of man or woman to find a way to deal with the specific problems of the Northern Irish border.
Well, the Irish government says this is just nonsense. I mean, the Irish Foreign Minister told me last week the idea that this can be solved with technology is nonsense. Well, and it's only uttered by people who don't understand the border.
OK, well, the European Union itself has proposed using technology to police a different customs border, in this case, a customs border between Northern Ireland and the rest of Great Britain. Now, if the European Union thinks the technology can be used for that, then it ought to be able to be possible to overcome those issues and use it for the land border between Northern Ireland and the Republic. And thereby, that would then allow us... I mean, Brexit is really all about a set of challenges and a set of opportunities. I think we need to deal with the challenges, but also leave open the opportunities. And the opportunities are there in the UK pursuing an independent trade policy in the future.
I mean, Theresa May's point, when she stood up in public, was people like you keep saying we should pursue a Canada plus deal. It's not on offer. It's only on offer for Great Britain, not for the United Kingdom. You know, the European Union position on it is to carve out Northern Ireland from that deal.
My understanding is the European Union said a Canada deal was on offer, so long as there is a solution to the backstop problem.
Which there isn't.
I'm saying, and I think many people in the House of Commons and many people in the Conservative Party think that it's perfectly possible to find a solution to that problem, given a dollop of goodwill on both sides, the UK and Ireland and the European Commission coming together to find a solution to that problem. And that then allows us, the UK, to pursue an independent trade policy, which I think is an incredibly important aspect of all of this.
But, I mean, this is really weird because, you know, the British government, Theresa May, says that's not possible. The European Union says that's not possible. But there are a group of people, you're one of them, in the middle saying, well, it is. I mean... You know, if the two sides in this negotiation think your technological idea for the Northern Ireland border is fairyland, it's not going to happen, is it?
Well, as I've already said, the European Union is proposing themselves to use technology for an Irish sea border. That's the first thing. Secondly, there's been some serious studies done on how that technology might be done by different groups, looking at the feasibility of that, and I think it is possible to do that. And I think that's what we should be discussing with the European Union at the moment, is finding a better solution than the Chequers proposals, which have actually already been rejected.
Like David Davis, that the Cabinet should face Theresa May down if she comes back with a backstop that is contrary to what I am
saying is I think there is a better policy choice. I think the public policy choice of Chequers, I think, can be improved on. The public policy choice of staying in a customs union, but being outside of the EU, is also a poor choice.
With 3 days before Theresa May goes to Brussels, she has not changed her mind. She is showing no sign of changing her mind. What are you going to do in that scenario? Are you going to change her?
Well, we'll have to see what agreement is actually negotiated, and we'll have to see what the vote is. I mean, the vote will be, of course, on the withdrawal agreement plus a political declaration attached to it. So the vote is not necessarily directly on Chequers or a Canada-style FTA or a Norway-style this, that, or the other. We have to look at what the agreement is that will be reached. I remain confident that an agreement will be reached between the two sides, because it's fundamentally in both sides' interest to reach that agreement. But of course, it's not saying that it is impossible that there could be a no-deal situation. That is also possible, but I think it's unlikely.
Do you think David Davis would do a better job of this negotiation? There's rumours that some people want him as a caretaker prime minister to take over.
It's a very... Look, we're all agreed that it's a very difficult negotiation.
But you are closer to his position, aren't you? And you agree with him rather than Theresa May.
I've got a lot of admiration for how Theresa May has approached the overall job of doing the negotiations. However, I do think there is a better option that is available to her.
Which is David Davis's option.
Which is the option of having a Canada-style free trade agreement and using technology
so why not
and
just
other ways to
ditch her and get him to do it?
Well,
why are you all being so coy about
this? Because it's all about the negotiation and going into a negotiation, as we are, with the European Union and trying to seek to get the best solution. It's not about the leadership of the party.
No, it's about the idea, and she fundamentally disagrees with you, and you agree with David Davis.
It's an evolving situation, Christian. I'm just putting my perspective on the table as the former trade minister, that it should be perfectly possible to come to a good free trade agreement with the European Union and solve the backstop.
Greg Hans, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.